Good morning, gamers. Sorry, I'm setting things up. Do I want it windowed? The music's kind of loud. I'll do full screen. Every time I click out, though, it closes. So that's an issue. Hang on. Let's try windowed. Okay, hang on. Is this not gonna work? Please work. Please. Please. Oh god. Come on, man. Oh, I clicked the wrong thing. That's why. That'll do it. Yeah, nope. User error. Spooky error specifically. Don't worry. Everything's fine. Okay. Perfect. Magnificent. Wonderful. Welcome back to another fucking visual novel stream. This one was voted on by people on Twitter because everyone wants to fuck monsters, which, you know, valid. Fair. It's okay. I get it. Say what? Okay. Anyway, there's an option for adult content in this game. So I don't really know what I'm meant to be expecting. I forgot to change the title. I forgot to change the title and the fucking... I knew I was forgetting something. I knew I was forgetting something. Okay. Ugh. It's not even 9 o'clock and I've already biffed it. Anyway, let's get started. This game features text descriptions and non-explicit visual descriptions of blood and gore, torture, war and cannibalism, sex and hand-holding. Hell yeah, okay. After years of waking up at the same time every day, I've grown far too accustomed to it. I'm awake even before my alarm beetle goes off. You're what now? The air outside must still be cold from the rain last night. The room feels a little chilly, but there's the strong compulsion to stay curled up in my blanket. My bed is enticingly warm, after all. So I decide to remain still until it's absolutely necessary for me to rise. Keeping my eyes closed, I consider what to wear today. The weather today is supposed to be cloudy. Wearing an extra cloak might not be a bad idea. Just one of the lighter ones. Oh, hell yeah. Oh, that's interesting. The alarm beetle starts chirping and I lay a hand on it, even before its first trill is over, gently silencing it. I crack my eyes open to squint at the light gently filtering into my room. Always save it decisions. Get up. I better get up. Alright, let's get going. So our name is Vil. This isn't the cute Grim Reaper game. I can't handle that shit. It's too early. I was getting too flustered. We're gonna take a break. We're gonna take a break. I crawl out of bed and begin my usual morning routine. It's become such a deeply ingrained habit that I hardly need to think about what I'm doing. I splash my face with water first and wipe off any pus that's accumulated overnight. Hello? Toweling my face off. Wow, welcome. Thank you for the follower. Weed inside. Hell yeah. Weed. Let's go. Anyway, why do we have pus on our face? The atmosphere outside is crisp from last night's rain. The ground's still a little moist, and there's a pleasant miasma that stings at the nose. Poking my head out the window, I take a few deep breaths to chase off the last tendrils of sleep before withdrawing back inside and making my bed. I find my way to my table to retrieve my usual breakfast, a block of salt and a cup of water. What are we? Some people go without eating in the morning, or only drink water, but I found it hard to last the morning without some salt. The crystals crunch between my teeth as I look for a cloak of appropriate thickness. What are we? The cloak I'm looking for turns out to be abandoned in a corner, and I swallow my mouth full of salt as I put it on. Oh, okay. The salt burns down the full length of my throat, and I wash it down with water. Not done, I smooth my hands down the front of my cloak to brush off any stray salt crystals. And to make sure there aren't any unsightly wrinkles, I want to look presentable. Even if I'm just a delivery agent, I still want to look good for my clients. My entire routine doesn't take more than 15 minutes. I've streamlined it well over the years. I glance outside as I close my window. The streets outside are still mostly quiet, with only a few people bustling about. The owner of the corner store is quietly sweeping the streets, the rhythmic scratch of brush bristles against the damp... Ugh, sorry, my brain's still booting up. Let me chug a bit of this energy drink. Give me a second. Ugh. I could have stayed in bed for like another hour before I stream, and I was like, no, we'll get up. It's fine. I'm a fool in man's shoes. Is an acceptable alternative to drinking Gatorade? Yeah, I mean... You know, you do what you gotta. The owner of the corner store is quietly sweeping the streets, the rhythmic scratch of brush bristles against the damp dirt echoing down the block. Lots of alliteration there. A few crows linger on a nearby roof, muttering to themselves. They seem a bit more excited than usual. My room falls quiet when I close the window. As I leave, I lock the door and jostle it 1, 2, 3 times to make sure it's secure. Then I head down the street. I want to know what kind of creature we are. That's what I'm invested in right now. The crows bellow at me when I walk past them, and I glance up to give them a smile. They remember people's faces, so it's best to stay on their good side if possible. That's true. Crows have a wonderful memory. Past them, the sky is a deeper green than it usually is. I squint and shield my eyes as I look up at the suns. That's right. I'd forgotten. The eclipse is in 2 days. Oh. Damn. The primary sun looms largest overhead, but its smaller brothers don't lag far behind, the 3 forming a lopsided triangle. Crows do make good dogs. I would love to befriend a crow. I really would. The moon lingers lower down closer to the horizon, like a pale paper cutout laid against the sky. It's normal for them to be scattered like this, but in 2 days, for just a few moments, they'll all align. The 3 suns all overlapping at one point in the sky, blocked from our view by one of our 2 moons. An absolute solar eclipse. Oh my god, hello? Excited about the eclipse coming up? I give a slight jump when a voice chirrups from right behind me. I whirl around so quickly I almost end up entangled in my own cloak. Whoa, didn't mean to scare you there. Sorry about that. No, it's alright. I was just thinking about things. As one does. One of my neighbors, Agari, from just down the block. She looks more jittery than usual, a string of saliva dribbling down from her mandibles as she also casts her gaze up toward the sky. Okay. Oh, it's exciting, isn't it? Just 2 more days and it'll be the eclipse. Are you thinking of doing anything special on that day, sweetie? I smile and shake my head. Nothing in particular, just looking forward to seeing it. Oh, that's also fine, but you should really think hard just in case there is something special you want to do on that day. Well, an absolute solar eclipse only occurs once every century or so, a rare event. I squint up at the sky. Perhaps because of that, people view it as an auspicious phenomenon. It's said that if you make an important life decision or attempt something new on the day of an absolute solar eclipse, the results are more likely to be favorable. I have never believed in such superstitions, but I know most of the city is looking forward to the eclipse. A lot of people propose to loved ones, explore new areas, or change their jobs on eclipse day. As a result, I've heard it's considered something of a headache for the community organizers, who need to deal with the chaos. Still, the excitement building in the air is almost palpable. Regardless of my own beliefs, I don't see any reason to squelch anyone else's excitement. I look back to my neighbor. Do you have any plans for Eclipse Day, Agari? Oh, I do! She gives an excited chirp, clasping her hands together. I'm going to visit my dear friend across town. We had a rather bad fight years ago and haven't spoken since, but we agreed to meet on Eclipse Day to talk things out. I'm sure we'll be able to rekindle our friendship. Oh, that's cute. Her genuine excitement is heartwarming, and I can't help smiling as I give her a nod. That sounds wonderful. I hope it goes well. Thank you, dear. Oh, and I shouldn't keep you for too long. You're on your way to work, aren't you? I nod again. It's alright. I always head out early, and it was nice hearing about your plans. Well, good luck on your work, and do think about something to do for Eclipse Day. It would be such a shame to let the opportunity pass by you. I give her a small wave as I turn to leave, and she cheerily returns the gesture. She was cute. I loved her. Is she supposed to be like an little old lady? That's the vibe I was getting. But once I turn the corner, I speed up into a light gallop. Despite what I told her, I hurry a little. I like getting places a little earlier than necessary. Hell yeah, anxiety gang, let's go. Good morning, boss. The air in the salt processing plant stings at my nose, burning at the lungs a little with each breath, and I try not to inhale too deeply. Full-time workers here usually wear masks until they happen to have well-developed nasal filters. Or unless they happen to have. Since I'm usually in and out of here quickly, I don't bother with the masks. Oh, hello, that's a cool design. Where's your mask? My boss is pretty strict, though. It's alright, boss. I'll be out of here pretty quick. No. Wear your masks. You'll need to wait, wear your mask, you'll need to wait a few moments. He thrusts the mask into my hands before I can stop him, then turns away to a nearby table piled high with packages. I give a slightly exasperated sigh. How many times have we had this exact same exchange before? Although it's a good indicator of how much the boss cares for his workers, I guess. I'll do as I'm told. Put on mask. It's a little uncomfortable, especially where the fiber brushes against the raw sections of my face. What? What? But it does immediately make breathing easier. And as I adjust the mask's strings, I take a cursory glance around the factory. It's a familiar sight, but its internal workings are always fascinating to watch. A chute at the far end of the room belches out spurts of salt crystals, filling them into a huge vat. The steady hum of grinding and crunching sometimes seeps through the chute, like the sound of many small bones being chewed up. Oh, delicious. On the other side of that chute is the machine that processes the raw salt, breaking up any larger rocks into these smaller crystals. The ground-up salt needs to be processed further, though. A grinding process doesn't get rid of any insects, rocks, or hair clumps that might be present in the raw salt of rocks. Okay, alright. Workers carry huge buckets of this unprocessed salt to the smaller vats that dot the cavernous room. These vats are constantly stirred with long poles, processing the salt crystals through filters that will catch any unwanted material. The filters quickly clog up with hair and insect wings and need to be swapped out frequently. Okay. One vat has a worker carefully adding an enormous bucket of flavoring to it. The scent of honey comes wafting through the air, and I inhale deeply. The sweet slick of honey contrasts beautifully to the familiar crisp sting of salt. Honey salt must be delicious. Maybe I'll get to splurge on it someday. Is salt like expensive or something? But in order to do that, I need to work. What's my quota look like today? My voice comes out a little muffled past the mask. A little more than usual. I step to the table to help the boss load packages into a cloth bundle. Each package is a block of salt wrapped tight in a piece of fabric. The fabric protects the salt from any moisture while it's in transit, and also catches any pieces that might crumble off. Most of the bundles are wrapped in cheap tan fabric. Those are the packages of normal salt. But there are a few packages wrapped in red or yellow cloth, and even fewer wrapped in white cloth. The white ones are mercury, right? The boss grunts in the affirmative. Mercury salt is such a rare treat that I don't deliver it often. It looks like more honey and punishment salt than usual, too. Punishment salt? People getting excited about the eclipse, treating themselves. Right, of course. Punishment salt? Wait. I would like an explanation on that, please. What the fuck does that mean? Hang on. Gotta stretch my weary bones. The boss counts the packages one last time before tying the bundle shut and handing it over to me. There's the rustle of fabric and the crackle of loose salt crystals bumping into each other with each movement, the package weighing heavily in my hands. I tie the fabric tight over the shoulder over one shoulder so the bundle doesn't come loose or jostle around too much while I'm running. Well, you're running. And here's the route. He hands me a scrap of paper with just a few notes jotted on it. I've long since memorized my route, and the paper only notes any exceptions. Who doesn't need salt today? Who's getting special salt instead of the usual? Who's getting more packages than normal? Usually, I don't even need this cheat sheet. But there are a lot of exceptions today. It really does seem like everyone's changing things up in preparation for the eclipse. All the more reason to avoid making mistakes. I'd hate to deliver people the wrong oh my god, I can't talk. I need to take a second. I need to like do vocal warm-ups before morning streams, I think, because this is the first time all day I'm talking. Stumbling over my words. Okay, let's take a second. Let me take just a moment. Oh. Oh, now I'm emo. I can go on Twitter for a second just to take a peek, and I see emo sleep token shit. The tour is over. The tour is over. What am I supposed to do? Be normal? No. Okay. Let's try this again. Got it. Pocketing the note, I give the bundle one last tug with my hand to make sure it's in place before turning toward the door. Right before I push the door open, I remember to take my mask and hand it back to the boss. He gives a snort as he takes it back, waving a hand to shoo me out and on my way. As the heavy door lumbers shut, I hear him call out gruffly, "Take care." Just a tiny sliver of the plant's interior is visible past the closing door, and I gave him a wave of the hand before turning back towards the street. Alright, time to begin my route. I've been delivering salt for several years now, though I was uncertain when an acquaintance I give up. I give up. Maybe I'm just not apt to reading this morning. And I get so embarrassed too. Like, part of the reason I started doing visual novels was to work on my ability to read aloud, because it's like a minor insecurity of mine. You know, kids are fucking mean, right? So, you know, fucking, I don't know, elementary school bullies, yada yada. So, yeah, I decided to like start doing visual novels to try to strengthen my reading aloud. And then when I stumble over my words, I get really, really anxious. So I do kind of want to check and see if any new bundles are in COD, but it's okay. We'll play a little bit more. We'll press on. See if I can't get over it. I've really warmed up to it since then. The workload is consistent and predictable. My boss is nice, if a little gruff, and the neighborhoods I deliver to are full of friendly people. Oh, hello. Hey, starting on your route for today? Yep. Have a good morning. You too. Oh. Are we like a dog? My hind claws dig a little into the ground, kicking up small clumps of dirt with each step. I quickly fall into a comfortable galloping gait as I take a hard left outside the salt processing plant and start heading down the street. Huge slabs of buildings loom overhead on both sides. This block doesn't have many residents as it's mostly factories. I pass by those quickly. No deliveries to make just yet. But I do have one delivery to make up at the corner ahead. The building at the very end of the block is smaller, its outer walls off-white instead of a murky beige. It's not very tall either, but it does have an awesome structure sprouting from its top. A giant tower clawing up toward the sky, made of bone and coated with smooth flesh. Okay. An enormous pair of antennae protrude from the tip of the tower, their chitinous shells gleaming faintly in the sunlight. They whip back and forth at random intervals, as if raking through the air. The numerous eyeballs on the antennae base also blink frequently, their irises swiveling about to survey their surroundings. One of them whirls around to look me over when I approach, and I give it a small wave. The front entrance to the building has a small sign carved into it. The sign reads, Community Overlook Center. I open the door and enter. Oh. The office's interior is much cozier, the air clean and warm. There are a few desks littered with papers, workers busily reading over their contents and filling out other forms. This place always looks busy when I come by. Never hectic, though. Despite the steady bustle of productivity, things always seem in control. Not that I know these workers very well. I do wave to a vaguely familiar face, but head straight to the far corner where the tower control pod sits. Is it that thing? Oh, I think it is. The pod's nerves crawl up, oh god, the walls like a giant spider web, thick cables of flesh burrowing into the smooth rock surface. The pod itself is a giant oblong shape, coated in flesh and pulsing gently. The eyeballs embedded into its surface flicker about more languidly, a few of them fixing on me as I approach. Though they close wetly after a few moments of staring, they probably don't want to get squished when the pod opens. Hello? There's a loud squelch of fluid, slick flesh when the pod splits open at the center, its two halves neatly sliding apart like a beetle's carapace. A wall of hot, damp air bursts outward as the pod opens. The interior of the pod is oozing with fluid, drips of it spilling out to dot the floor. A thick coating of it obscures the shape of the person sitting inside until he sits up and stretches his arms. Fluid comes I don't know how to pronounce that word. We're gonna skip it. Often sheets, spilling back into the pod's interior as he rises to his feet. There's two wet plops of suction as he detaches the pod's nerve cables detaches the pod's nerve cables attached to his temples. High Yeistel towers over me when he straightens up to his full height, the bones of his feet clicking gracefully on the floor when he steps out of the pod. Oh! Good morning, Vil. He always talks gently, his voice low. A little hard making out what he's saying in the office if the office is ever really busy, but it does make him sound very reassuring, especially when he smiles a little. I like this design a lot. It's very cool. Oops. Diligent as ever, I see. Yeistel leads the way to the table nearby. It's far enough from the pod that there isn't any danger of fluid splashback, which is good. Salt doesn't hold up well to anything wet, and I have a lot of salt to drop off here. My bundle's heavy from the day's worth of salt, and I'm looking forward to lightening it significantly. I start undoing the fabric knot to put the bundle down on the table. How are things looking today? He gives a small sigh at that, just a warm puff of air that escapes past chitting his lips. I haven't spotted any real troublemakers, but there's certainly a buzz in the air. There does seem to be a little crowd congregating just north of here, so I might have to send someone to check it out later. Hopefully it's just a friendly gathering, so I can leave it be. I'd hate to have to get anyone in trouble just before the eclipse. Nod sympathetically. You don't fully understand Yeistel's job, so I don't, so I can offer sympathy. It does sound like the situation could go either way. Hopefully it won't cause too much trouble for you, no matter the outcome. Thanks, Vil. It should be alright. I'll just keep my eyes on them for a while. Yeistel's job seems busy at the best of times, and I can only imagine it grows more difficult during times of excitement, like around the eclipse. There aren't very many people who can handle the pressure of being the town's overlook, especially since the overlook pod is apparently a strain to operate. But Yeistel's been loved by everyone since he took the job. Highly attentive and quick to respond, he's been key in maintaining the town's peace, because he's able to spot troublemakers so quickly and send officials to stop them before too much damage is done. It's done a lot to discourage crime. That, on top of being an all-around nice guy... Why did I read it like that? It doesn't matter. The fabric finally comes undone, and I settle it on the table before digging through my pocket for the note. All right, it says here that you need 24 packets of salt today, correct? Correct. 24, then. Yeah, still doesn't eat the 24 packets of salt for himself, of course. As the community overlook, he's also in charge of keeping an eye out for people who are ill or injured and have fallen on hard times. Anyone who might have difficulty procuring their own salt. These 24 packets will be distributed to such people. Oh, that's nice. That's a little more than usual, right? Is the eclipse causing any trouble? I lay out the salt packets in stacks of 4. In a sense. Yeah, still gives a slightly sheepish laugh. Oh, I love this design. It's so cool. It's not trouble, but I wanted to ensure that people aren't struggling for salt during a time as joyous as the eclipse. I'll be giving out a little extra to people who are having a hard time. Oh, that's so nice. My heart warms with admiration. That's really nice of you. I'm sure they'll really appreciate it. 6 stacks of 4, 24 packets of salt lay neatly on the table, and I make sure Yeistel's given it an approving nod before tying my bundle back over my shoulder. Speaking of the eclipse, do you have any plans? Everyone's so excited about the eclipse. I shake my head. Not really. I might go out to watch it, I guess. Yeistel laughs gently. He has a raspy laugh in contrast to his littling voice. Lilting? Lilting. You sound awfully unimpressed by the eclipse. I guess I'm just pretty satisfied with where I am right now. I know the eclipse is supposed to be good luck if you're making any big decisions, but I don't have any decisions to make. I shift the bundle on my shoulder. Oh, hang on. Ugh, early morning frog throat back at it. I shift the bundle on my shoulder and it comes out like a shrug. Maybe if I try taking a different route on my delivery that day, I'll find a shortcut. That'd be nice. It would make your life a little easier, I suppose. Do you have any plans? There's a pause. He still looks thoughtful, a finger tapping at his chin before his lips curve into a smile. I might. I'm still deciding. But you know, Vil. He still reaches out to touch my shoulder. Despite the hard bones of his fingers, the gesture is soft and comforting, squeezing just briefly before giving a tender pat and then pulling away. Okay. Retry, redo, reboot. The eclipse really is a special time, not just because of the eclipse itself, but because everyone is so excited and happy. I don't think it would be a bad idea to take advantage of that unique energy in the air. And give a small smile. All right, I'll give it some thought. On to the next one. Yeah, still sees me off. Is it all right for you to leave your pod for so long? It's all right for a few minutes. Taking short breaks help keep my mind clear. Don't work yourself too hard. Even if everyone's depending on you, you shouldn't run yourself ragged. Thanks. You do. I grin. Don't worry. You helped me a lot by taking so much salt off my hands. My route's always easier after I visited you. Yeah, still rasps out a laugh. Well, I'm glad I could be of help to you. Though I should be the one thanking you for your work all the time. Alright, I'll see you later, Yeistel. Take care, Vil. Yeistel waves as I start off at a light jog. I wave back. The overlook tower is docile without him in the cockpit. The towering antennae and mound of flesh just barely quivering. Ooh. It's strange to see it so calm, which says a lot about how much I've grown used to Yeistel's constant presence keeping an eye on the city. He's a good guy. I hope he gets a day off sometime. He could probably use it. It only takes me a few paces to hit my stride, my posture lowering as I transition into my usual gallop. With the big delivery out of the way, the rest of the route is smaller deliveries, no problem. Oh! Here you go. Thanks. Quick as ever, aren't you? Just trying to be on time. Have a nice day. You too, Vil. Most deliveries go quickly, just 1 or 2 salt packets to drop off along with a brief greeting. For people who aren't at home, I have to drop their salt into the usual delivery box out in their front of their door. It's nicer doing personal deliveries because I like saying a brief hello to my clients, but it can't be helped. Everyone has things to do. Interesting. Thanks, Vil. Honey salt, huh? Planning on doing something special for the eclipse? Yep, thinking of throwing a bit of a party. Glad I could get you your salt safely then. I appreciate it. You be careful on your route now, you hear? Will do. Everyone seems happy. It's nice. It's a nice day. My next delivery is a few blocks away, but I can cut through the park. The ground's a little wetter here, the dirt solid beneath my feet instead of kicking up into little puffs. Ooh. My claws dig into small I'm fucking it up. I'm fucking it up. My claws dig small grooves with each step, no doubt leaving a little line of tick marks to signal where I've been. They'll probably be trampled flat during the day, only to repeat the next day. The paths in the park are flanked by trees, their gnarled branches reaching haphazardly up and outwards, as if they're also looking forward to the eclipse. Small insects lay nestled in the bark, their wings shimmering like water droplets each time they flit around. Few of them chitter at each other, set to the backdrop of crows shouting. Somewhere further away, there's the quiet drone of some sort of factory belching long streamers of smoke. It's nice here. The atmosphere is great. I really like cutting through the park. I'm so distracted that I don't hear the sound of footsteps approaching. Rapidly. Vil! Oh, hey. Hi. Hello. A boisterous pillar of fur and energy comes bursting out of the foliage directly to my right. I almost jumped 2 feet in the air. Hey, Vil! Bratton stinks of sweat and dirt. His fur is matted dark in spots, plastered out in strange directions from dried fluids, and there's a glob of something fleshy stuck to his jaw. Hey, Bratton. Been out all night? Yeah, just as I suspected. We were exploring out westward since we smelled a lot of salt. I haven't found anything yet, though. I'm sure you'll find it soon. You guys are really good at your jobs. Bratton beams at me, tail wagging side to side and knocking around some innocent saplings' branches. Bratton works as a salt scout. Salt scouts search the flesh fields outside the city in search of raw salt pools. These pools are where we harvest the raw salt for processing at the plant, then distributing it out to people. Ugh. Words hard, speaking hard. An important job, in other words. Salt scouts depend on their sense of smell or sensitivity to changes in the air to seek out the signature sting of salt. So apparently many of them don't mind working during the night when visibility is poor. It's not usual to see a salt scout heading home in the morning, dirty from the long night of exploring. Anyway, even after a night of what must have been exhausting work, Bratton talks at a boisterous growl. Thought I smelled you with salt, so I figured I'd catch you now. If I pick up my salt from you here, it'll make your route a little easier, right? Smile tugs at my face. Bratton looks terribly proud of his innovative thought. I mean, he's already here. Thanks, it helps a lot. Not really. My route takes me past Bratton's house anyway, but I won't tell him that. Bratton gives a wide smile, showing off every single one of his sharp teeth. No problem. Awfully endearing. Oh, I love him. He's sweet. Well, let me check what your delivery for today is. Just the usual for me. He pipes up before I can double check my notes, so I nod as I shift the bundle on my shoulder to pull out his usual delivery. 2 bags of regular salt. Bratton tends to eat a bit more than average. Understandable, with how much time he spends moving around. By the way, he sounds excited. I bet he's gonna talk about the eclipse. Do you have any plans for the eclipse? Swinging of his tail has grown ferocious, batting a branch aside with enough gusto to snap it in half. Not really. Everyone seems so excited for the eclipse, which I suppose is the normal reaction. Probably weirder that I'm more laid back about it, but that's just my nature. Besides, it makes me happy enough just seeing other people being so excited. Their feelings are infectious. Really? Come on, you should live a little. Bratton's enormous paw claps on my back, making me stumble forward a step. 1 or 2 salt packets spill from my bundle, but he catches them before they hit the ground. Oops, sorry about that. It's alright. I put those packets away and managed to extract 2 packets of regular salt in the process. Here you go, the usual for you. Thanks, Vil. For a moment, Bratton sounds like he's about to add something. The little tug! That's so cute, stop. But stops himself. I don't prod, just readjusting my bundle. Sure enough, he shifts his weight from one foot to the other for a few moments in a nervous fidget before speaking up again. Hey, you should really consider doing something for the eclipse. Well, not that I'm against doing anything, but I guess I just don't have any plans. So you'd be up for doing something adventurous? What? Braden blurts that out loudly enough to startle a crow overhead, and I can't help but being curious. Maybe. Cool. There's a pause before he hurries to add, not that I have anything planned or anything, I was just asking. But you never know what might come up, is what I'm saying. I have to fight back a grin. Braden isn't good at being subtle. I guess you're right. Knowing Braden, maybe he'll teach me about some hidden location to view the eclipse from. He knows this area like the back of his hand, thanks to his job. The shortcut through the park is also something he taught me about, so I'd actually be pretty happy if you taught me about a strange new location to visit during the eclipse. It might be a nice change of pace. Anyway, I'll let you get back to your job. Braden's stifling a yawn as he says that even his endless energy must be running low after working all night. Sure, you should get some rest. Will do. There's no warning before Braden leans in to lick my face, his tongue dragging all the way up from my chin to my brow and leaving a sticky trail of drool in its wake, a very moist sign of affection. Do good on your job, and I'll see you tomorrow. And with that, Braden's on his way. I love the himbo dog. I wave as Braden makes his loud exit, crashing his way through some defenseless bushes and leaving a trail of trampled ground in his wake. He waves back as he turns a corner around a prickly bush up ahead, then vanishes from view. It's only then that I raise a hand to my face, considering wiping away the damp tracks lingering on my face. I ended up just leaving it be. It's not a big deal, after all, and my face gets chapped from running against the wind all day. The sheen of spit soothes the raw skin a little bit. Oh, yuck. So after one last check of my bundle to make sure it's secure, I turn my attention back to the path through the park. Time to get back to work. Here you go. Thanks, Bill. You're always right on time. I really appreciate it. It's nicer to get my salt directly from you instead of my box, you know? I understand. I'm glad I could get it to you too. You're such a good kid. You take care, alright? Will do, sir. The route grows easier towards the end of the day as my bundle grows even lighter. I have to stop to tie it tighter over my shoulder, making sure the excess fabric doesn't billow and flap around too much as I run. The deliveries go smoothly. Everyone seems to be in a pretty good mood, and one client gives me a cup of water to keep me going. Though I don't need the water, it's still a nice energy boost, and I thank her for it before continuing on my way. One block has 5 houses in a row that need deliveries. One house is occupied, and I get to hand the salt to my client directly, but the other 4 are empty, so I leave the salt in their boxes. Maybe they're off at work, or maybe they're making preparations for the eclipse. Hopefully I can say hi to them tomorrow, at least. That block done, I trot to the end of the street to the corner, but the sound of screaming catches my attention. Looking up, I catch sight of a small crowd a few blocks down. It takes me a moment of squinting to realize what it is. A punishment salt bath, huh? Oh my god. There's a giant metal tube placed on the ground, flanked on either side by an overlook officer, and inside the tub, salt. And a person, a criminal. Each overlook officer is holding a capture pole, the wires at the end strung taut around the criminal's limbs, keeping them firmly in the salt bath. Even from this distance, I can make out patches of raw, wet flesh, areas where criminal skin has been flayed off to expose them to the salt. Holy hell. No doubt the salt in the bath is starting to stain red and clump together from the blood and fluids. My mouth waters a little just from the thought. Oh my god, dude. These punishment salt baths serve a dual function. On one hand, this is a pretty good punishment. The larger criminals earn harsher punishments. First-time offenders are usually only given a salt bath. The pain of having raw flesh exposed to salt is usually enough of a deterrent to keep people from repeating their mistakes in the future. And on the other hand, the salt used in these punishments is a bit of a delicacy. Though not as prized as honey or mercury salt, punishment salt has a savory tang to it that almost everyone enjoys. Just enough blood gets mixed into the salt to give it a unique flavor and takes off some of the harsh edge to the original salt taste. Okay. I'll probably be seeing a bunch of punishment salt to be delivered tomorrow. Maybe I'll claim a package or 2 for myself. Everyone's talking about the eclipse after all. Maybe I could treat myself. Whoever's immersed in the salt gives a gurgling scream. Sunlight glints off the bright salt. Glints bright off the salt tube. Get back to work. As interesting as this is, I think it would be best to get back to work. I turn my attention back to the streets ahead. The officers are grunting something at the criminal, but I ignore it. Even if the smell of blood and salt in the air is tantalizing, I take 1, 2, 3 quick steps and launch into a steady trot. I'm still on the job, so I shouldn't lose my focus. True that. I've managed to drag my thoughts away from the salt bath by the time I reach the end of the block. At the tail end of my route, and with almost nothing left in my bundle, each step feels light. I drop 2 salt packages into a delivery box before rounding the corner. Immediately, there's a unique sweetness in the air. Without thinking, I raise my head to inhale deeply. Even if I'm deeply familiar with this smell, it's still enticing. One can't help but breathe in deeper inhales around this area, and there's always a few people loitering around. Up ahead is the bee store. The bee store. The small bone chime above the door rattles as I enter. The cages before me buzz in response. The air inside the store is already dizzyingly, there we go, fuck, God, it's already sweet. But the heady scent intensifies for a moment, and I utterly lose my train of thought. Standing before the entrance, I just focus on taking in 1, 2, 3 deep breaths, each lungful making me feel more languid. Oh, hello. You're here, huh? The gruff voice sounding from further inside the store that snaps me back to attention. Hey, Nyarg, I have your salt. Nyarg stands between 2 tall rows of cages, making notes on a scrap of paper, probably taking notes on the condition of his bees. As I make my way down the aisle, the cages around me buzz happily. Little bee I love! Each cage contains a large fat bee. Some are shy and turn away as I walk by, but others are more personable and bumble up to the front of the cage to poke their antennae through the bars and wiggle them at me. One cage contains a particularly fluffy bee that waggles its abdomen at me as I approach. I've helped bathe this one before, so it's familiar with me. When I pause to poke my finger through the bars of its cage, it toddles closer and ducks its head so I can rub the area behind its head. Ah, right where the bristly fur starts to spout. That's so fucking cute. I pet it a few times, rubbing my fingers in short strokes, and it hums happily in response, flicking its wings. Honey dribbles from its mandibles, leaving damp yellow spots on the padding in the cage. Hey there, you're not supposed to be wasting honey like that. Don't blame my bee for that, you're the one who made her drool. Nyarg must have finished taking his notes because he's made his way down the aisle toward me. The bulk of his body towers over me, leaning over to peer into the cage where the bee is rubbing its mandibles with its frontmost legs. My girls have had to work hard these days. You shouldn't agitate them. Oh, right. Sorry. You're fine. Just don't excite them too much. Got it. The bee continues to wash its face off, antennae flicking periodically. Because of the eclipse, huh? Yeah. Not surprising. Bees are all highly prized for their honey. Everyone loves honey salt, after all. That's such an interesting thought. Honey and salt. I guess I could see it. I guess I can understand why that... God, fuck, I'm a mess today. What is going on? My brain's like short-circuiting. Ugh. I guess that's what I get for not sleeping the extra hour when I could. Nyarg's store sells both bees and honey. Bees are expensive, both to buy and to care for, so not many people can afford to buy one. But saving up to buy some honey for special occasions is much more doable. Maybe I can do that, actually, since I don't have any other plans for the eclipse. Hey, Nyarg? Do you have any plans for the eclipse? No. Also not surprising, Nyarg is the type who largely keeps to himself. Oh fuck, my phone cord is tangled, hang on. Okay, we're good. Fixed it. But I suppose the eclipse should be nice to watch, right? I'm thinking the same thing. Maybe just take a relaxing break watching it happen. Sounds ideal. Think I should buy some honey for the occasion? I do have a few bottles left for today. Maybe you're considering buying some. You know, I don't do it often, but I was considering picking up a bottle since it's a special occasion and all. Do you want one now? Not now. I don't carry my wallet when I'm with me on my route. Maybe tomorrow? Might sell out tomorrow. But I'll set a bottle aside for you tomorrow if you want. That'd be great, thanks. Nyarg only grunts in response, but some of his lips quirk up a little. I think he's pleased. Oh god, okay. The bone chime on the door rattles as another customer enters, and I give Nyarg a quick wave. I better go, actually. But I'll see you tomorrow? Nyarg grunts again, already turning toward his new customer. I give the bees a little wave too. They're so cute. They buzz back at me, the sweet scent of honey in the air intensifying in that moment. I almost stumble as I turn toward the door, inhaling deeply as one last time before stepping outside. My head clears immediately. The air just outside is still sweet, but it's nothing compared to the intensity inside the store. Outside, a few people peer into the window, looking at the bees on display there. Oh my goodness, hello? It smells so good here, doesn't it? Want to go inside? Nah, I don't want to run into the owner guy. Why? What's wrong with the owner? I was about to resume my route, but I paused, pretending to adjust the fabric tight over my shoulder. Not that that's even necessary. The strangers don't pay me any attention. I heard he doesn't eat much salt. So what? But he eats something else other than salt. What? I roll my eyes a little. Nobody knows, but it's not normal to eat so little salt, you know. And my friend said he once went into the store and they saw him eating one of the bees. Gross. I've heard all that I cared to hear, so I finished adjusting my back and set off at a steady gallop. There are a few weird rumors about Nygaard floating around. Nyarg? Fuck. And though I once interrupted some gossipy customers, Nyarg told me not to bother in the future, that he doesn't care what people say. Still, it irks me that people bother making up these silly rumors about people just because they're different. And Nyarg is a good guy. When I get home, I'll look through my savings to make sure I have enough to buy a little bottle of honey. He seemed pleased by my promise to buy a bottle, after all. Oh, that's a cute little mouse. Thanks, Vil. I was worried you might be late since things seem so hectic today. I'm glad I didn't keep you waiting. You always work so hard, so I know I can count on you. But don't work yourself too hard, you hear? Make sure you give yourself some time off on the eclipse. I'll do that, don't worry. I waved to the last of my customers for the day, sighing quietly as I turn the corner back to the main street. The empty pack over my shoulder gets folded up into a little cloth bundle I can fit into my pocket. I'll drop this off tomorrow morning while picking up my salt, so my work for today is done. Yay! It's not too late when I get back home, but I feel tired nonetheless. Maybe it's the atmosphere. Though the walk back home had been uneventful, that spark in the air had still been present. And I'd been like trying to wade through a shallow pool of water. I'm just gonna say sloshing, because I don't know how the fuck I'm supposed to pronounce this word. I don't care to try. The energy sloshing off everyone's skin in thin sheets with each little conversation with a passerby. Everyone had seemed genuinely excited, and I was happy for them, truly. Now that I'm in my room, alone, I can't help wondering if it's really fine for me to have no plans at all for the eclipse. I open the window and lean out it as I chew a block of salt, feeling each bite sting my gums. Outside, the two moons glow past a gossamer curtain of clouds. They infuse the night sky with a gentle light, warding off complete darkness, and I bask in the cold light as I reflect on the day's events. All of my customers had such different expectations for the eclipse. Sounded like Ystel had something in mind. Same for Braden. I guess Nyarg doesn't have any plans, but he has to work hard leading up to the eclipse. I finish my salt, dusting my hands off outside, and close the window as I retreat back into my room. Well, I guess it's kind of late to be making any big decisions anyway. And the belief that the eclipse will herald anything good is just superstition. A little early to be sleeping, but the day's been weirdly exhausting, and I can feel sleep rolling in like a blanket of fog, steadily clouding through my head. As I sink back into my bed and stare up at the ceiling, I idly consider tomorrow's route. I guess I'm gonna be pretty busy tomorrow too. Though I start going over tomorrow's route in my head, I can feel my thoughts rapidly clouding over. I'll just deal with things as they happen, I guess. Yay! Okay, I'm gonna stop there. I'm so tired of reading. I didn't realize how exhausting it would be to do like multiple visual novels in a row and reading out loud with like no break whatsoever. So we'll finish this tomorrow. We'll do more tomorrow. But if I stream later, I think I'm gonna do a COD stream. We'll just hang out, just chit chat, just vibe. Low commitment, low effort, and just, you know, vibe. We'll just vibe. That seems like a good idea. Seems like a good plan. Is anybody live this early in the morning? No. Of course. So thank you guys so much for coming and hanging out. I know I said I was going to try to do a longer stream today. I do apologize. Later. We'll do a longer stream later. I promise. I promise. I hope you guys have a good start to your day. Remember to eat something, drink something, and I will see you hopefully later. Oh, and take your meds. Don't forget to take your meds. Almost forgot to say to take your meds. Anyway, I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.